doing fine. It's a living life.
Namaste friends, and welcome back to the Way Om Yoga. My name is Sarah, and today I'm going to be guiding you through part 3 of this 7-part series where we are going to explore the 7 Hermetic Principles and apply them as an overarching theme for our yoga and our meditation practice. So today's theme is going to correspond to the law of vibration, which basically just means everything is in continuous motion, everything is vibrating at a certain level and a certain frequency. So to imitate that theme today in our practice, we're going to play around with some vocalization, so some yoga chanting, as well as some pranayama, some breath work to get us going. You may even notice too that today's flow has a particularly fluid, kind of continuous motion. So we'll imitate that law of vibration of being just in constant motion throughout our vinyasa sequence. So for today's practice, you do not need any props to participate, and we'll go ahead and get started here by coming into a comfortable seated position on the yoga mat. We're going to play around with some chanting. We're going to play around with the unifying sound of Om. So what we're going to do is we're going to take an inhale through the nose, and then on the exhale, we'll chant Om together. Okay, so we'll do that 3 times. So on your next inhalation, let's take an inhale through the nose. Om. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. Om. One more. Inhale through the nose. And we'll let that unifying sound, that unifying vibration carry us through the rest of our practice, okay? So from here, I want to guide you through some pranayama. So Ujjayi breath, which translates to victorious breath. It's a very audible breath. So what we'll do is we'll take an inhale through the nose, and then on the exhale, we're gonna create this contraction in the back of the throat, and it's gonna sound like fogging up a mirror, like that kind of sensation that you would imitate when fogging up a mirror, except the lips are going to be closed together, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate what that's going to sound like, and then we'll do it all together. So on your next inhale, I'll take an inhale through the nose, and then on my exhale, and you hear that contraction, I'll do that one more time. Inhale, and then exhale. Kind of that warmth and that contraction that you'll hear in the sound of the throat, okay? So let's do that all together, but we're gonna use our hands to help guide us. So on your next inhalation, let's sweep those arms up and overhead. And then exhale. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. And we'll play around with that in our practice. And that does take some time to get used to, just to consciously manipulate your breath in that way. And I'll remind you and encourage you throughout the practice, okay? But from here, let's go ahead and make our way into our first downward facing dog of the practice. And again, to imitate our theme today of everything being vibration, of constantly in motion, even when things seem like they're at a standstill, I want you to move around as needed here in this downward facing dog, whether that's pedaling out the feet, maybe moving the hips side to side, maybe shaking the head yes and no, releasing any tension. And again, playing around with that Ujjayi breath cycle here. Good. Now from here, friends, on our next inhalation, we're gonna make our way to the front of the mat here. So you can either walk your feet forward into forward fold, you can hop maybe once, maybe twice, until you're at the front edge of your mat here, coming into forward fold. Good. On your next inhalation, let's go ahead and sweep both arms up and overhead. And then exhale, we'll draw the hands together in front of our heart center here. So we're gonna flow through Sun Salutation A, and I wanna encourage you again to play around with that Ujjayi breath cycle, making the breath more noisy, more audible as we go along, okay? So on your next inhalation, let's sweep those arms up. Exhale, let's hinge forward into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let's meet in down dog. From downward facing dog, let's come into plank pose on your next inhale. Exhale, yogi's choice. You can take chaturanga all the way down onto the floor, or maybe take upward facing dog. Inhale, it's cobra. Exhale, we'll meet back in downward facing dog. And again, child's pose is always an option for you. And even in child's pose, right? We're breathing, we're circulating. Our cells are vibrating at a certain level, at a certain frequency. Beautiful job, friends. From here, we're gonna go ahead and add on into our practice. So on your next inhalation, let's bring that right leg up and back for three-legged dog. Beautiful. Exhale, let's flow into down dog with the twist. And even here, I personally like to extend my leg and then rebend it as I'm here in down dog with the twist. Some of you may wanna roll out that ankle. And again, just any degree of movement here. The law of vibration, constant motion, constant momentum. On your next inhale, it's three-legged dog. Exhale, we're gonna simply step the right foot forward between the hands, coming into a low lunge with the left knee down. Now gather your bearings here, gather your balance if you need to readjust your feet in any way. But I welcome you, if you wanna bring your fingertips to the floor for support, you can. Maybe to the top of the thigh. Some of you may want to extend through the fingertips here, coming into low lunge. Let's come back to our breath on our next inhale. Gorgeous, and exhale. Now from here, we're gonna play around here with this lunge, with this position. So on your next inhalation, let's go ahead and bring that left arm down either onto the yoga mat, maybe to the waist for support, maybe to a block if you have that. And we're gonna just simply reach that right arm up and over. Good. On your next inhalation, we'll come back up through center. Exhale, we'll take it over to the opposite wall this time. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. On your next inhalation, we'll bring both arms up and overhead. This time as you exhale, go ahead and melt the heart forward. Arms come out kind of like cactus arms. Gorgeous. Beautiful. On your next inhalation, we'll bring the arms up and overhead once again. This time as you exhale, we'll set both hands down. I'm going to invite you just to heel toe that foot off the yoga mat here. We're coming into a low lizard lunge here. So notice that my base is a little bit wider. I'm stepping my right foot off to the side. And again, you can stay put if that feels more appropriate, or I want to invite you just to sway a little bit side to side, getting into the hips, seeing where you can breathe into any spots that might feel a little tender, maybe a little tight. Any areas that just could benefit from your awareness and your attention. And again, coming back to your breath, maybe that Ujjayi breath. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and once again, we'll bring that foot back to center, heel toeing the foot back. Good. On your next inhalation, we're gonna step that foot back into downward facing dog here, pedaling out the feet, finding any degree of movement, any counter pose if you need that. Good. Let's take this all on the left side this time. So on your next inhale, left leg comes up and back. Exhale, down dog with the twist here. And again, any range of motion here, any degree of movement to get you settled here into your practice. On your next inhale, it's three-legged dog. Exhale, we'll step the left foot forward, preparing for our low lunge with the right knee down. And again, same options, friends. Find your balance, find your support here. Good, we'll root to rise up once again. And then from here on your next inhalation, let's bring that left arm up and over towards the opposite wall here. Good, and inhale, let's switch sides. Exhale. Beautiful, let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale, settle in. Inhale. And exhale. On your next inhalation, both arms come up and overhead. Exhale, we'll melt through the chest here, through the heart center. Arms come down and along your sides. Beautiful. On your next inhalation, arms come up and overhead. Exhale, we'll root the hands down here, stepping that left foot off the yoga mat. Once again, preparing for that lizard lunge. And again, friends, you can just stay upright for support if you need that. Some of you may benefit from a little bit of movement. And again, even if you're staying put, you're still breathing, right? Everything is in motion. Everything is vibrating at a certain frequency, at a certain level, even the cells of our body. One side might feel a little bit more fatigued, maybe tighter than the other, and so take your time here with that. Be patient with that. Stay here for 2 more cycles of breath, starting on your next inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. Beautiful, exhale. On your next in-breath, let's go ahead and walk that left foot forward once again. As you exhale, we'll carefully step back once again into downward facing dog. Beautiful. On your next inhalation, let's go ahead and bring that right leg up and back for three-legged dog. This time as you exhale, we're gonna prepare for pigeon pose with the left leg forward. So my right knee is just behind my right wrist here. My front leg here is more or less parallel with the front edge of my mat, but it's okay if it's slightly at an angle here. And again, if you need to grab a yoga block to support you underneath the pelvis, underneath the hips. And yeah, you kind of probably already noticed I'm moving a little bit here in my pigeon. I'm kind of swaying just gently, carefully, consciously, side to side. Some of you may want to come down onto the forearms, finding a little bit of movement here. Coming back to your breath. And again, it's fine if you want to just stay put, stay still, and enjoy the stretch here in pigeon. We're going to stay here for 2 more cycles of breath, starting on your next inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Inhale. And exhale. Well done, friends. From here, let's come up onto the ball of the back foot. We'll press down into the hands, gently stepping back into down dog. And yeah, if you want to get down dog with the twist, that is a counter pose for pigeon. Okay. We got one more side here, friends. On your next inhale, it's three-legged dog with the left leg up and back. Exhale, let's come forward into pigeon pose. Take your time with the setup here. Okay, grab any props if you need that. And again, my left side is typically my tighter side, so I try not to go too far. Sometimes I just spend more time, on that side, knowing that it's a little bit underused. Okay. But just pay attention to your body, pay attention to any signals, right? We're never forcing anything to happen. We're just flowing today. Good. Come back to your Ujjayi breath. Good. And inhale. And exhale. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and come back to upright here, coming up onto the ball of the back foot, pressing down into the hands, shifting our weight back into downward facing dog. If you would like to take down dog with the twist on this side, you are welcome to. Good. And then from here, my beautiful friends, I want you to find any way to a seated position just so that we can close off practice together. And again, I typically don't guide my students through meditation or Shavasana. However, if you would like to do that, you are welcome to do that on your own. But I just want to close off this practice with you all. As always, thank you guys so much for showing up. Thank you for exploring this theme, the law of vibration. I look forward to exploring the other themes in this series with you all. And until next time, namaste.